Hello everybody, and this is Meowzer from the Geek channel, and this is the Let's Build a D&D Town. So as a quick update, I have indeed started the wall. I have the full perimeter around where the wall's going to go, but I have started it. And so far it's going okay. It's definitely going to be a lot of intense work. I'm going to slowly do pieces here and there. I'm not going to try to do it all at once, otherwise I will want to kill myself. And that's not good. Kids, that's not good. But, like, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I'm pretty sure that mostly this hollow bit is going to be a little secret. And maybe the thieves will use it to kind of get around, like, it's not something that's going to be general knowledge. And I'm probably going to fill in part of it so there's little, just micro, really cramped tunnels going through here. Yeah, I think it should be pretty cool. So today, I'm just going to give you guys an example of the kind of houses we will be building. Because, you know, a lot of the houses will be fairly similar. They're not all going to be completely unique. And, you know, you guys want to see me build a house 1,000 different times in just slightly different ways. So we're going to kind of just build one that generally is what we're going to be working with. By the way, if you like the music in the bathroom, are you guys in my bathroom? That's creepy. Also, can you clean the toilet? Actually, kind of needs to be done. Anyway, the music in the background is Cloud Kicker off his album Fade, and it is amazing. And I just needed some sound in the background, and you know what? It's great. So I figured, why not? We're going to be using very simple blocks for this. You know, we use a lot of fancy stuff over in the, whatchamacallit. This is going great. We use a lot of complicated blocks over in the, place. The inn. There we go. This one's going to be much closer to a classic Minecraft build, honestly. We're not going to get super fancy. And it should be a lot of fun, I think. This is kind of building at its roots. Oh, fence. That's what I'm thinking of. And then I will probably want stair. I was thinking about going brick, and I might later for some of the little bit more upgraded houses, but for these very base ones, I want to these very base blocks. So this is pretty much what we'll be using mostly. We'll probably maybe accent with a little bit of cobblestone, but this is the base of what we'll be using. Maybe some half slabs too, honestly. So a lot of the time when you're building, you kind of want to think in odd terms. And odd, I mean odd as in kind of like numerical values. So, you know, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, that kind of way. Just because if you do that on each, like, if you do that, things tend to look a lot more organic, which is kind of strange. You'd think it'd be the other way around. But things actually end up looking a lot more organic. So 1, let's do this now. Actually, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I hate grass. I really do. Actually, here we can put the door to the side for now. Actually, there we go. So, like, it just works out a lot of the time. Because, you know, oddly enough, nature isn't actually even. It's not square. It very rarely is. You know, so when you go into very symmetrical, well, not symmetrical because there are symmetry, but if you go into like builds where everything's even and orderly, it kind of loses a bit of the appeal. And you know, the same is also true of the opposite, whereas if you go to just obviously odd every time, everything kind of looks a little bit off. So we're gonna go one, that's two, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're gonna do 9. Also, you rarely want to make everything a square, and it's definitely a trap a lot of people can fall into. But like, realistically, everything is not square. Like the house I'm living in right now, it is not square. It is square-ish because it's kind of a ranch style home. But see, it's 3, 4, 5. But it's not actually square. It has some shape to it. It has some definition. So you always really want to take that into account. And then we're gonna kind of extend this towards here. At this point, I don't really count because I don't really need to count because it should work out to be odd. And honestly, if it doesn't, that's not a bad thing. Like I said, going odd makes things easy to build, and realistically, it's kind of how things turn out anyway. But you kind of lose the organic feeling of like the naturally built feeling if you always do the same thing every damn time. So just always challenge yourself when you're building. Always kind of vary it up. And this is gonna be a weird place. I can tell you that right now. This house. What am I doing? Well, actually, I do need to count because I forgot I was doing something here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this works out. And this is where it doesn't matter anymore. So there's not much of a kind of curve to this, but there's a little bit. And just that little bit of it not being a square can do a lot of work. So, by the way, this is going to be our kind of base, cheapish house. Cheapish as in cheapish as in kind of lower class, So it's not going to be super big. We might have a third floor on it. I'm not a third floor, a second floor on it. We might not. Let's just kind of see how. Actually, probably not, honestly. And see this? This will blend in very naturally with all the shades of wood we have here. But at the same time, it will be a standout piece too. They'll look very strong and kind of imposing. And even like the logs can make it look like this isn't someone who's impoverished. This is somebody who's doing okay. Like they're not rich, they're not even doing great, but they're living. So that's kind of why, like, these logs really will give the building a shape that stands out, but the color should help it blend in, so it'll catch your eye, but it won't look out of place. And that's kind of important when you're thinking of towns. Like, the trap we can fall into very commonly. Yeah, I kind of like that. The trap we can fall into very commonly when building is to make everything look really cool. And in certain places that kind of makes sense. I don't like that actually. In certain places that kind of makes sense, but in a D&D town, you do need to have the variance of classes. Not everyone can be rich as balls, Not everyone is completely, out of their mind wealthy. And you need to remember that. I kind of like that. Like, it's not a big change, but it definitely draws your eye to the door when you're inside. And it's not something completely, out. It's not something completely out of the ordinary. So yeah, when you're doing this, you need to kind of think about that. So you need to kind of figure out how to make builds where things are interesting, where they'll catch the eye, but where they won't stand out as being odd. So with very strong shapes, like this kind of little triangle right here, if you're just walking by, you see these very strong logs, and you look at it, but it kind of looks bland. And that's the point. It's to look bland, but it still should catch your eye. So you really need to keep that in mind when you're building something like this. Something where you have a storyline to it. If you're just building cool stuff like on a creative server, okay, who cares, you know? But you need to kind of keep that in mind when you're actually building something with a plan. As much as I plan to have for this. And I know this is kind of a boring build, and it's kind of a simple little house, but you kind of got to think of how it's going to go over with your players and how you're going to describe it. And if this house was completely like made out of obsidian and made out of diamond blocks, it'd be like, you're like, okay, this is it looks kind of like a poor person's house, you know, like a peasant, and like, it's made out of diamonds, dude. I'm gonna go mine that house, you know. So, should we do the triple here? I feel like the triple is a little bit too much just because you're letting too much air into it. But I could be overthinking it. You know, a lot of this stuff is just for ventilation, honestly, back in the day. Like, it was for light and ventilation. So actually, no, let's do this. We'll do this for now. And this is probably doing more windows than is realistic, but it is a little bit of a fantasy world, so you do need to keep that in mind. Also, for something like this, it is completely reasonable to use dirt floors. So actually, let's see how it looks. And I know, you know, we're not getting fancy here. Oh my god, dirt floors. But, you know. Then we'll try maybe some cobblestone. And if not, we do have that wood. Yeah, we do have that wood. But having dirt floors wouldn't be super uncommon. And the door should eventually keep it from going in. And so right here, we have a decision to make. Do you want to do this? I don't feel like that works. I don't mind that. Just right here, just always kind of take it a stroll by something like this. Will kind of give you help and see what catches your eye. That definitely catches the eye a little bit too much. So let's just do that. It seems bland, but you really need to think of how these things impact your eye. You see how it looks. Not just you staring at it, but from a first glance, what does it look like? What catches your eye immediately? So we're gonna try the dirt floor here. We'll see what's going down. Yeah, I can kind of say already I kind of like it. You know, dirt, especially in specs, dirt doesn't have a bad look to it. In regular Minecraft texture packs, it looks horrible. I will admit that right now. But here, it doesn't look so bad. And it's not uncommon for a place like this to have a packed dirt floor. Nope, stop. Grass, what are you doing? Stop it. Here is also a little trick, and this one's pretty common, you should know it. But, so doors. A lot of people will rock the door right there. And you know what? It's not bad. It makes sense most of the time. But the problem is, it just you can get a lot more shape just by putting it there. You create a little bit of shadow, a little bit of play in the light. And see, look over there. See how we have all these shadows that kind of develop around the building? That can add so much depth to your building, especially when people are looking at it at night. Oh, they're missing part of their floor there. So, you need to really kind of put interesting shapes in buildings. So this, theoretically, is just a box, but we have nice shadows and texture cast by these logs that stand out, but they blend in. And it's really hard to get a feel for what stands out and what blends in. So, we're going to, let's do this a little bit darker wood on the top. So, because that'll kind of make it differentiate from the bottom, but at the same time it'll blend in. So we're gonna use some spruce, I feel like. Yeah, let's grab some spruce. I already have spruce stairs, but that's cool. I was going for the spruce half slab. So we're gonna use a combination of these two. So let's kind of go here. So this will keep it from standing out too much if we go around the edge. And once more, we're adding another texture here between, like, another difference in your sight between these logs. and that's a good thing. You know, you're making things more interesting for the eye, but it's not going to like slap you in the face. So let's just kind of go around, and then we'll see what we're gonna do from there. I know this is interesting to watch me place blocks. By the way, tell me if you want me to condense these episodes a little bit, because I can give you guys a little bit less of the building, and just more of me telling me why I'm building the way I am. Telling you why I'm building the way I am. So I think, let's make it day now. Oh, I'm getting lag. But you guys should be used to that by now. Oh, see, look at that. So it definitely draws a nice little line, and it makes this stand out a little bit more, but it also catches the eye a little bit. I like that. There's just these very subtle differences where it's not much change of tone, but when you let the tone of the wood be very base down here, very similar, it can really make this stand out a lot more. And it kind of defines it as a separate piece of the building instead of just another part of a, you know, a brownish blob. So you really should think about how things are going to impact the eye when you are building. The reason I am doing this right here is because I actually don't want this roof to be too peaked. So we're going to kind of steeple it up in the classic style, but I don't want it to be too peaked. So I might even leave an opening somewhere, but we're probably just going to peak it first. And we're going to use these half slabs. We might not keep them, we might keep them. It really depends on how it looks. And I might not do the complete peak with this, honestly. It might be a little bit too much. Because remember, this house you want it to catch the eye just because you want everything to catch people's eye. But you also don't want it to stand out too much. Because especially if you're using this for a D&D campaign, like, you know, kind of the whole purpose this build is for, then you need to kind of consider if you describe everything, or if everything stands out, they're going to want to think about everything, which is kind of cool but kind of not. You know, you don't want to spend hours waiting for your plays to figure out that a house is just a house. I think I like this better. Yeah, that's better. And we might go one more up. Actually, let's try this. And it's just adding some immediate height. So, yeah, I think this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's a little bit too, we might go half size here, honestly. We don't want it to make it much, we don't want to make it much higher. Yeah, that stands out a little bit too much. So we might just cap it off. Nah, let's try half slabs there, guys. I don't know if I'm going to edit this out or not. Please let me know, if I don't end up editing this out, and you are hearing this right now, please let me know if you want to see less of the building. That's, especially because I'm apparently inept at placing blocks today. But please tell me if you want to see less of this. Yeah, this is such a simple house, but you really have to put a lot of thought into this. And that's kind of what most of the houses are going to be like. You know, there's going to be a little bit of stylistic changes, but this is mostly what we're going to be going for. And I'm going to try to start describing a little bit more why I'm doing said things. But I'm still kind of getting used to this and the fact that I actually have an audience. You know, mostly it's just inner dialogue with why I'm doing things. So a place like this is going to have an open floor plan, which means that it's not going to be any rooms. It's just going to be a kind of open house. Let me check on how long we've been recording real quick, and I will get back to you. Actually, I feel like we've been recording quite a while. So I'll stop recording here. I'll decorate, and then I'll kind of describe why I'm decorating the way I am. That seems good. Okay, guys. So as you can see, we have first of all, we have a little bit of light escaping from the room, and you really should consider how light is going to kind of spray across the streets, because you don't want things to seem too lit up. You don't want things to seem abnormally bright. We're on peaceful right now, so that's not a problem, but it can be. So if you're really worried about it, you can implement some things like the street lamps I'm going to do, but I'm not sure how prevalent these are going to be yet. I'm still kind of playing around with the idea. Kind of have to do what makes sense for the town. So either we're gonna have street lamps, or we will have or we'll have something. Oh, okay. Where's the place? It's over here. Or we'll have a little torch here, or possibly here. And just one, which is gonna you guys are gonna do that. You're gonna want to, but don't, because it just doesn't make sense. So we'll probably do just a single torch here if we do that. This place is very simply, like I said, it's just a very kind of poor house. 2 beds, a chest. The chest is next to the beds in case, you know, sometimes steal it from them. They can kind of react. This table right here is just made of 2 stairs, kind of turned onto itself. So it's a very basic and simple table. And I broke the chest. Chest. Thank you. So, I know, like with that. I don't know what that is, but I kind of like how it looks. We're gonna take a look. It'll probably try to kill me. Anyway, let's grab this trap for us. Let's try it out. Hungry trust? Yeah, let's not mess with that. That's a good chest. This is supposed to be a bucket. I know it's kind of a rough bucket. I really wish there was like half of these, like half strips. That would be amazing. It'd be amazing. But you know, the bucket they'll probably use just to go to the well, and they'll use it to cook, they'll use it to wash their face. They'll basically use this bucket for a lot of stuff. You'd be surprised how far a bucket could go back in that. Here is just a very simple table. I love the fact that you can do cool tables with panels and posts. So that is a very, you know, actually legit looking table. I use a crafting table just as a little table for food preparation, stuff like that. And then they have a little oven. Oh, grass, how dare you come into my domain! So, might... So we might actually... How do I like shutters? Honestly, I don't like shutters on something like this. I am not a fan. But yeah, this is kind of our very simple kind of peasanty house. This isn't like completely vagrant house. I will have a shack. Do not worry, we will do a shack. But this is kind of basically the basic idea of what our houses are going to look like. And how they're mainly going to be furnished. So, if you like this video, please give us a like. If you dislike the video, please give us a dislike, actually. You know, feedback is always awesome, honestly. If you want to kind of watch more about the stuff we do, go ahead and give us a subscription. And if you have any comments, questions, you can put it in the comments. Also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at the stereotypical GK. And I hope everyone had a great day and found this video not interesting. I know it's a very simple build, but I kind of tried to go over exactly why I was doing what I was doing. And if you enjoyed the music in the background, it is once more by Cloud Kicker, and it's his album Fade.